Hello everybody, my name is Aceface, hope you guys are all doing well. I haven't been making some videos for a few times, but it should actually seem like there's been no delay between videos. Reason is because I've been having a lot of real life work to do. Currently I'm in medical school, the last course of the last semester, and I'm doing emergency medicine, so it's a lot of my free time goes to that. So here's now back to some EVE Online, and I've also had a bit of a cold, so I might sound a bit strange here, but thankfully I'm feeling quite a bit better now. But I thought of doing something here. I was going to take one of my T5 hybrid Gilas out to do T5 Firestorm, and the reason for this is because I was checking out the filaments and looking at the prices. This is something I do from time to time, just quickly, log in, check what the prices go for in these filaments, and I realized that the only cheap T5 filament now is the Chaotic Firestorm. All of the other ones go for at least 10 million ISK. You can see here Gamma 14, Exotic 23, Electrical 20. That is actually a bit cheaper though than it usually goes for. It has previously gone for more than that. If we look here, you can see that it's been going for at most 30 million. So it's actually a good price point here to actually do some T5. So go and do them if it is still the same price when the video comes out. Darks, these surprised me that they were a little bit more expensive than I thought, and I can see here that they have been increasing a lot over the last half a year or so. They used to go for a lot less before. So these is what surprised me, seeing that they're at this price here. So the thing that stood out to me was that these Firestorms still are really cheap. So if we're able to get a fit that is able to run them very smoothly, then I think it's a very good price to performance margin here, because you're going to be earning a ton of ISK from the T5s, not as much as T6, but it's still going to be a lot, because T4, and even me personally, I think T4 is a decent amount of ISK. Then you take that to the next level in T5, I think it's good, and then plus you're getting very little cost for the filament. I think that is a very good filament to be able to do, but it is also pretty difficult to do because a lot of abyssal waves do thermal damage, thermal resistance reduced in Firestorm sites. Overall, it's a bit more difficult to do these T5 Firestorms or Firestorm sites in general, which is a reason, or contributing reason to it being cheaper than the other ones, because less people want to run them. But we're here in my hybrid Gila that I use for T4 Firestorm. However, I have made some upgrades to it. I don't know if you would consider this to be an upgrade, but I wanted to make it a little bit beefier. So instead of the third damage, drone damage amplifier, I put damage control. Now, many people will say that, oh, you're so stupid, why are you doing that? You're nerfing your DPS, you're going to not be able to destroy stuff in time. I will be able to destroy stuff in time. I think it just could be an idea to make myself a little bit tankier, because I definitely need more tank for the T5. So I want to test this out, but it could be an idea to have another drone damage amplifier, because the faster you kill stuff, the less the less damage you have to tank in total. But I think this could be good because it buffs both our shield boosting capabilities and our buffer, because this is a hybrid fit. For you guys who have not watched my previous videos, I like to use this fit for T4 Firestorms, which focuses on using shield boosting combined with passive regen. Okay, now another upgrade I've made over my T4 one is that instead of a Tech 2 Multispectrum, I've put a C-type. And then I've also put an A-type medium shield booster instead of a C-type. So we've made some few upgrades here and there. We've got a Gist X-type thermal shield hardener. We could have perhaps gone for the Pith one. That would have actually given us a little bit extra thermal resist. But this Gist one is pretty good because it uses very little capacitor, and we are quite limited in terms of our capacitor here, so we will have to rely a bit on passive tank if we encounter extreme minute waves. We are using a fit that is relatively cheap. It's not the most expensive T5 fit. There are more expensive ones, but there are also cheaper ones as well. But for T5 Firestorm, I would say that this is pretty cheap. The problem, though, is that my implants are what is the more expensive part. When you take into consideration the implants, then this is not particularly cheap fit at all. But I would want to just test it out, see how it goes, because if it works out smoothly, then I think that it could be a good farming fit to earn some decent ISK. So my implants, for you guys who are curious, full high grade Nirvana. Very expensive, I know, but that's going to be helping us having some really good shield capacity capabilities or shield regen capabilities. So Chaotic Firestorm, we're going to jump in here. We are on Tranquility. I'm risking it here in the system of Van Carlen, pretty close to Jita, so there's high risk of us getting ganked, but I just wanted to do it anyway because sometimes it can be a little bit entertaining to have a bit of thrill. Okay, I don't want to go for these extraction nodes, because the point here is that we want to be able to test our fit, see how good that goes, rather than earning a decent amount of ISK. Because as long as we're able to complete the sites, then we are sooner or later going to find a way to earn some decent ISK from these. So the way I fly the hybrid fit is that I just try to wait until my shields have gone down a little bit, and then I'll start using my shield booster. So then I'm able to get as much shield boosting as possible out of each room. Now we've got a decent buffer. You can see it takes quite a bit of time for our shields to even move, and you have to remember we've got a shield booster as well. So it's not like we're completely useless here in terms of our passive tank. Not that passive tanks are useless, but they can suffer, especially at the lower shield pool, because you have very little passive regen here. So that's where shield boost is very useful. Okay, let's go to this bi-adaptive. Get that there. We've got some hammerheads that are taking a little bit of a beating. I probably should have taken out some of those Vila Vedmax. They can give remote reps, I think. Medium remote reps. I'm not sure. I should have been using my shield booster a lot earlier, actually. That's silly of me. The Vila Vedmax, I think that they have remote reps, medium ones. And if that is the case, then it would be better to go for them first, because they are going to be able to medium remote rep their friends. Okay, no, I don't want to shoot there. I want to shoot at the bi-adaptive cache there. Good, okay. But the Vila Vedmac wave, or the Vila wave in general, is a very bad wave to estimate how much tank you have. We have got minus 70%, so that is actually a good benchmark for tank, because those types of sites tend to be a little bit more difficult, because it just makes that thermal resist even lower than you already have. But all things considered, I think that our tank is still pretty good, because we've barely budged in our shields, and we've gone through this whole wave, and we've not done any kind of particular maneuvers at all to avoid the damage. But again, the Vila waves, they are one of the weakest waves you can encounter in the Abyss, so don't consider them to be a good benchmark for your tank. You know, with the certain ships, they can also be very deadly waves, such as the Purifier. When I have used the Purifier solo in the Abyss, these guys can be very deadly because they're tiny Vila Swarmer drones. They will always catch you because they go really fast, so you can never kite them. This Purifier, I rely on it kiting, so you can never kite these guys, and even though they don't do a lot of damage, these Vila guys, they will still be able to get you and kill me. So in certain circumstances I hate these Vilas, but usually it is a very chill wave. Now if our drones can get to work here, because they seem to be sleeping a little bit on that Vedmac over there. Come on. Good, okay, now next one. It'll be good if we can focus our missiles actually on the same one, because then we just get them done with a little bit quicker. We are rocking the bling Gila skin. This one here. I don't know why CCP decided to release this, but I'm happy about that. Gilded Predator skins. I've actually bought a few of these. I think they look pretty cool. They remind me a bit of the Hostile Takeover one here, with a bit of gold, but the Hostile Takeover is a bit more yellow. This is like proper gold here. Bling bling. And it also matches, actually. This is silly, but like it matches with my my suit here. Okay. Wonder how much that suit goes for now in Jita, because I bought that a long time ago, and I remember it was a very rare commodity, but I don't know if it's still the case. Might have to check that out sometime. Okay, come on, take out that guy, please. There we go. Recall drones, reload everything here. You know, something we could have actually done here is, since we have this Nosferatu, another alternative could be is that we could replace this Nosferatu with a small remote armor repair, because that could be useful if we want to repair our drones. But I think a Nosferatu can also be useful if we just want to get that tiny bit extra capacitor, because neuting is the bane of this ship here. The worst thing that can happen to this ship is neuting, because this ship is still partially reliant on capacitor. It's not a pure passive fit that has not got any need for capacitor. It's completely independent of capacitor. No, it's not the case. You will, when you get neutered out, you're going to lose your resist mods. You're also going to be losing your shield boosting capabilities, so you're going to be losing quite a bit of tank. But you will be better off than a typical active tank when you get neutered out. On the other hand, this ship has less power modules or less capacitor modules, so it will get neutered out easier than a classical active tank as well. So there's sort of pluses and minuses, but there are pluses here to having a big buffer in general, because you're just going in, rolling in with a ton of tank that you don't have to think about, while you're just letting yourself buying yourself time with that tank, enabling you to just destroy everything. Okay, let's destroy this dissipator. Good. Now take out this one. Maybe go for that bi-adaptive here. Really, I'm liking how little damage we take. I like that. It feels like we barely have our shields scraped here. Open this up. Chaotic Firestorm, but otherwise nothing of significant value here. Let's go to the dissipator. Then we'll go to the Illuminator here. Do we have any Newting frigates? Yeah, there's that Firewatch over there. We'll keep a range 500. We do have the Tachyon Cloud, which could be an idea to keep out of because our drones are not going to hit particularly well when they're flying at like... How fast are they going? They're going really fast probably. 10,000 kilometers or 10,000 meters a second, so they're going to have a difficult time hitting with their tiny range as well. And even though they're drones, they usually are able to hit pretty good. But they do still have a limited amount of tracking. Nothing in EVE has a limited amount of tracking unless you consider missiles, but they're still going to be affected slightly by velocity. Okay, our drones seem to be sleeping, but it's probably because they're being flung around at 10 kilometers a second. You know, we should recall those drones because they're taking a lot of damage there. Get this other group out. There we go. We hardly take any shield damage at all, actually. Our shield boost really helps give us that extra little shield boosting. Because here, the good thing about these hybrid tanks is I like how they're sort of efficient in a way. Because when it comes to regular active tanks, you're very often going to be over-repping. You're just going to leave your shield booster on. You could just leave it off, but you're often going to be just leaving your shield booster on, and you're going to be wasting potential tank because that is going to be going into nothing. You're going to be over-repping. But here, you never are able to over-rep because you've not got so strong shield boosting capabilities, but you've also got a really big buffer, so you're able to sort of make full use of all the capacity you can regenerate during a full Abyss run, I feel. So in that way, I feel like I'm sort of more taking use or capitalizing on my ship's capabilities. Because with classical active tanks, it's a little bit like all or nothing. You've either got enough regen to survive or you're not. Okay, let's take him out there. Good. It's a little bit difficult for those drones to take out these sleepers, especially when a silly tachyon cloud is really close to us. We probably want to move a little bit. Let's just try moving because this is taking too long. It's also not helping that we've got that damage module, or not damage module, but damage control module. That is actually here controlling our damage by removing one of those low slots for us. But we are also controlling damage by reducing it. It's incoming. Okay, there we go, good. Split. Oh, and those drones taking a beating. This tachyon cloud is, I don't know where it's stretching out, but it's just stretching out to the full map, full extent of the map here. Get the super DPS with those augmenteds. Get those on the case. Tank here is no issue at all. It's just annoying how we can't really hit properly. The augmenteds are very good against these Ephialtes because these Ephialtes have hardly any resist at all, so they're very good in just doing raw DPS. Take this one out. They also have a bit more tank than regular Tech 2s as well. Let's go towards that transfer conduit. But I like the T5 Firestorm. T4 Firestorm is also really great because you don't have to use a particularly expensive ship to be able to run them. But T5 will require an expensive ship, but not as expensive as a T6. And you're being very efficient in the way that you're not having to spend so much on the filament cost, and it's also a little bit more chill in general than the T6 because you don't have to worry as much as on time. You've got a lot less NPCs going on. Unless you're here, we're not able to hit anything with this tachyon cloud causing problems here, but we're still like at almost a 5-minute average, and I think that's very good. 5 times 3 is 15. Means you've got 5 minutes to spare if you need it. Okay, and then we'll get some missiles on this one here. Go on, take him out, please. Just these augmented hammerheads, they're going to have such a hard time hitting. Come on. It's just some missiles, and then they have to go and reload as well. Okay, we should not be shield boosting here, because it's good to save some capacity at the same time as well. Because that's also like a buffer that can get ended by newts. Okay, great. So now it's time for the last wave. If they can... Yeah, they're in Augmented Hammerheads, next room. What is our EHP? It's going to be a little bit less than in known space because of the reduced thermal resist, but we can check here. My fitting tool doesn't want to work properly. Okay, there we go. 80k EHP, that's nice. Devoted Knights. Okay. Let's jump straight in here. Let's destroy the devoted knights. They have the most amount of DPS. After that, we're just going to go for as many frigates as possible. Lock up that bioadaptive cache. And now is when we want to use our shield booster. And we're getting through those devoted knights pretty quickly. But we're also taking a lot of damage as well. And they will hit a bit harder here because first off, we don't have so much EM resist, which they do a lot of. But they also do thermal resist, and thermal resist is actually reduced quite significantly here in the Firestorm site. I mean, we destroyed them also pretty quickly, so it's not too much to worry about. Let's land a volley here. Great, open that up. See, is anyone neuting us? Just that cruiser. You can see we're taking much more damage than those previous waves. But it's a lot to do with the resist profile. You see our two lowest resist. Oh, yeah, it's two lowest is thermal and EM, but not by as much as I thought. Chaotic electrical, nice. Those good filaments that people are wasting them when you're not wasting, but those filaments like T5 electrics, they're very expensive. People spend a lot of money using them. We can capitalize on that because we can sell those filaments. Recall those drones. And we'll get this one here. Now all the knights are down, so it's not really much to worry about now. Just destroy the frigates as quickly as possible. The frigates can do a lot of damage when they swarm you, just keep that in mind, but the majority of the damage are in those crews, so if you take them out, you usually don't have much to worry about. The frigates also get destroyed very quickly. They're not particularly fast, so they're easy to track compared to other frigates such as like maybe the rogue drones or Damaviks. I mean, we're tanking with a big margin here, that's good. And just frigate after frigate just gets popped, so it's no issue whatsoever. Now here's the second part of Abyss difficulty, is the ganks in the end. There's always a risk of ganks, that's a risk here, so we'll see if there's any ganks. I don't think there will be, because usually when I do this stuff in high sec there's not a gank, but the risk is significantly higher when I'm here close to Jita, which I do out of pure convenience. Do not recommend you do this yourself. We could probably spread our drones a little bit as well because we're destroying the frigate so quickly. But that sanctuary room went down pretty quickly. It did in about 4 minutes. I think even less than 4 minutes because we started a bit above 10 minutes here. Put one drone there. Devoted lookout. Destroy that devoted lookout. Great. Okay. So now we've done that T5 Firestorm and it went really quickly. And it was also really smoothly in terms of the tank. I'm really happy about that. I would like to test more waves. The main threat to this ship is not that we're going to have overwhelming DPS. I'm pretty confident that we can tank any kinds of waves in terms of raw DPS. What I am, however, worried about is that we have DPS plus newts. Those two together are not a good combination for this fit, because then you're going to get neuted out, you're going to have your shield booster not work, and then eventually the multispectrums. Then you're going to get a lot less tank, then you're all relying on you being able to take them out as quickly as possible. And I can imagine in some situations that will be a bit sketchy. So there is a risk for newts. So that is the only thing I worry about. Otherwise, to be honest, when it comes to the brute force tank, when you don't factor in newts, I think there will be no issue for this fit here. So a successful test, but more are needed to confirm that this fit is viable. Until then, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. I'm very happy about this fit. If you did enjoy the video or learn something new, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.